Right now, we are following breaking news. The Supreme Court overturns Roe v. Wade. This is the scene right now outside the Supreme Court, where you can see crowds are gathering in our nation's capital. This landmark decision means the end of constitutional protections for abortions that have been in place for nearly 50 years. We have Team 12 coverage for you this afternoon. This a day people on both sides of the aisle will never forget. Let's begin with Samantha Crawford in the Alert Center right now. So Samantha, today's outcome likely going to lead to abortion bans in roughly half of the states.
Yeah, and because of that and the emotion associated with this decision, there is uproar, like you said, outside the U.S. Supreme Court, which has ruled to revive Mississippi's ban on abortion 15 weeks into pregnancy before viability. In other words, the 6-3 conservative majority has overturned Roe v. Wade and is now allowing the states to enact their own abortion laws. Now, many are arguing right now that just yesterday, the court ruled that states cannot determine their own gun laws, but today said that they can determine their own laws for abortion. Now, back to what you were just saying, what this means for the country. Now, according to the Associated Press, 20 states will have prohibited or restricted abortion care. Another several are now going to be uncertain. What this means is that thousands of women will not be able to go into their own state. 13 states, including Mississippi, have what's called trigger laws on standby that will instantly ban abortion. Others have laws in place that will ban abortions after just 6 or 8 weeks. Again, meaning women will not be able to get this medical procedure done near their home. So now to expand on that, I'd like to hand things over to my colleague Nadia Galindo, who's outside the All Women's Health Clinic in White Plains. Nadia, what does this mean for women here in the Hudson Valley?
Well, New Yorkers' right to an abortion is protected by state law. But what abortion providers are telling us is that they're expecting an influx of thousands of women coming from states with restrictive abortion laws coming to clinics like this one here in White Plains to seek a legal abortion. Now, earlier this month, Governor Hochul signed legislation that would protect abortion providers from arrest, extradition, and legal proceedings in other states, and also help protect people seeking abortions here. And that's because some states are weighing legislation to allow anyone to sue patients who leave their state to obtain legal abortions in states like New York. And this wave of people is something abortion providers tell me has already started. People coming to abortion clinics here in the Hudson Valley because their home states have banned abortions past 6 weeks, when many women don't even know they're pregnant. Here in New York, you can get an abortion for any reason up to 24 weeks of pregnancy. Now, we are expecting to speak to people on both sides of this issue, and we'll have those interviews for you coming up at 3. We're also keeping an eye on any protests or rallies that pop up here in our area. That's the latest here in White Plains. Nadia Galindo, News 12.
All right, Nadia, thank you. Of course, this news has so many people wondering what it means for our reproductive rights going forward. Joining us now is Pace Law Professor Bennett Gershman to talk about our future. Thank you, sir, for being here. Talk a little bit more about what is next.
Well, thanks, Lisa. I mean, as you've just showed, many, maybe most states can not only restrict abortions, but make it unlawful, meaning that the doctor, the staff, the woman herself can be prosecuted and can go to jail under these state laws. States might write a law that bans a woman from going to another state to get an abortion. They might ban the mailing of drugs into a state for abortion. This ruling portends questions about other protected rights, such as gay marriage, contraception, sexual autonomy. So this decision is catastrophic, as far which the dissent said. And I will say that Justice Roberts, Chief Justice Roberts, who concurred, said that this decision is a serious jolt to our legal system, because it didn't have to happen this way. They could have followed the Mississippi. Mississippi didn't even ask for Roe v. Wade to be overruled. They had a 15-week viability standard, which the court could have adopted. So, it's really funny. It used to be that conservatives were crying about how liberals on the court were judicial activists. Now the conservatives are cheering the activists on the Supreme Court. So it's funny how the worm turns. But again, many states can protect the woman's right to abortion. That's clear. New York being one of them. What's going to happen next is going to be so totally unclear how far the states are going to go, and we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, well, let's talk a little bit more about that. You mentioned that earlier, women possibly getting arrested for having an abortion, these anti-abortion states preventing women from crossing the borders to get these procedures. What are the methods that local officials have to enforce those laws at this point?
Well, the same methods that they would have to enforce any laws. If they learn that somebody has violated a law, they arrest that person. There will be information available. And, of course, prohibiting somebody from crossing state lines is a violation of another constitutional right, the right to travel. Barring mailing into a state of abortion medication is a violation of the Commerce Clause. So, I mean, there's going to be a huge controversy and cases coming to courts now after this decision. Even a law that says a woman can get an abortion only if she is very, very seriously ill. That might be will a judge say, I don't think that woman is seriously ill enough to get an abortion under our state law that bans an abortion? Who's going to make that decision, a doctor or a judge? These are the tough questions that now are going to have to be asked. But the bottom line is, as I see it, the court said men have more rights than women under the liberty that Constitution protects. Men have more rights than women.
And because of what you just said right there, very an emotional day here all over our nation with people reacting. Pace Law Professor Bennett Gershman, thank you so much for joining us. We'll, of course, check in with you throughout the day.
Thank you.
And social media reaction is just flooding in after this monumental decision today. Cardinal Dolan posting this on his Twitter page, a statement from the bishops of New York saying, "We give thanks to God for today's decision of the United States Supreme Court." Former Westchester County Executive Rob Astorino, running for governor right now, saying the High Court rightfully put elected officials in each state in charge of abortion laws, saying that New York State needs to evaluate its laws, saying that a third trimester abortion up to the moment of birth is something that most New Yorkers strongly disagree with. Congressman Jamal Bowman saying that right now is the time to expand the Supreme Court and, in his words, restore a level of balance that has eroded over the years. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer saying today is one of the darkest days our country has ever seen. And then also Congressman Patrick Maloney saying that the decision is appalling and that now women today will have fewer rights than their mothers before. Now, we want to know what all of you think, so head on over to our Facebook page, weigh in, and we'll be sharing some of your comments here in the Alert Center in just minutes. Lisa.
All right, Samantha, thank you. And stay with News 12 and News12.com as we continue to provide you updates on the Supreme Court's Roe v. Wade decision and any breaking details. This is local coverage you can't get anywhere else, local reaction to this landmark decision. We also, of course, have got to talk about our hyperlocal forecast. And to do that, Addison Green is here to talk about the weekend ahead and some weather whiplash. Addison.
Yeah, definitely so, Lisa, because remember how it was back a few days ago, right? Temperatures were downright chilly compared to how it should be this time of year. We saw a high on Wednesday afternoon of only 63 degrees. That is typical for May 1st. And with all the raininess and gloominess around, it definitely did feel a little on the chillier side. But look forward towards Sunday, and temperatures are shooting on up, nearly 30 degrees warmer. Going to see a high of 90 degrees. It's going to be warm. It's going to be a little humid as well. Definitely very summer-like and very fitting for the very first weekend of summer. The view out there across the Hudson River looks much better than how it looked earlier on today, where we had patchy fog, even a little bit of minor dense fog at one point or another. Now we have a little bit of a mix of sun and clouds and fair skies down below. But now we're starting to talk about with that fair sky condition, more people out and about. You may have to deal with some pollen concerns, so the grass concerns and weed concerns are starting to run at a moderate level. As you look out for your day today, here's your moodcast planner. Definitely a lot of smiling faces with sunglasses on as we see fair skies coming on in through the midday hours and then staying nice and clear through the evening to overnight hours as well. So your daytime high coming your way in Poughkeepsie is 83 degrees. Same thing in Yonkers. Newburgh hitting around 85 degrees. And a lot of locations will continue to see that warmth building on up as you head in towards the weekend ahead. So look down there towards the south, the southeast. Temperatures in the 90s and triple digits. That's where that warmth will be eventually pushed up this way. So up the eastern seaboard, we have the mid-80s in Boston, low 90s potentially in New York City. Here comes a cold front, though, making its way through the northern plains. By Sunday afternoon, we have temperatures across the northeast in the mid to upper 80s to low 90s. Behind the front, temperatures are dropping into the 70s and 60s. So once that front starts to pass us by Sunday night into Monday, we'll kick off rain showers and also help to drop those temperatures going in towards your Monday. But along with the rain coming on in, maybe a few isolated thunderstorms as well as you make your way through Monday midday. But timestamp right there, Monday morning is going to be when we may potentially be dealing with a little bit of some sogginess for the morning rush. But for the weekend ahead, no showers at all. It's going to be marvelous, going to be warm. 88 on Saturday, 90 on Sunday, 79 coming on in for Monday. Then as we wrap up June on Thursday, head into July, temperatures are bouncing back on up.
All right, Addison, thank you. We are now hearing from more and more people right here in Westchester and the Hudson Valley about the landmark decision to overturn Roe v. Wade. Take a listen.
So what do you think about the Supreme Court overturning Roe v. Wade?
I think it's ridiculous. I think women should have the right to do whatever they feel like with their body. Yeah. It's your body. Like she said, there are situations that, you may have to have an abortion. You should have that right as a woman.
I'm pro-choice. I believe because there could be situations such as rape or that a woman got pregnant from, or if they're not ready or if they can't afford to raise a child, I think they should be able to have an abortion.
It's a shock.
We continue to follow breaking news for you this afternoon. Roe v. Wade now overturned. That outcome expected to lead to abortion bans in roughly half of the states. You're looking at video from our nation's capital right now. Advocates say the ruling is going to cripple women in mostly minority communities who are already facing limited access to health care. The constitutional protection for abortion had been in place for nearly 50 years. The Supreme Court's decision on Roe v. Wade coming just 24 hours after a decision to block the state's concealed handgun law. Governor Kathy Hochul met with local mayors to address those concerns, and the Mount Vernon mayor was part of that conversation. Here's News 12's Lisa LaRocca with that story.
The Supreme Court's ruling on New York's full carry permit laws basically comes down to a person's constitutional right to bear arms. But some New York lawmakers say they're concerned this could lead to more gun violence.
It's a New York law that's been in effect for more than a century. In order for a legal gun owner to get a public carry or full carry gun license, they had to prove there is a special need for the permit, such as a unique circumstance or danger to their life.
Show me why you need a full carry. And the Supreme Court says, well, you shouldn't have to show why you need a full carry because you, according to the Second Amendment, have a right to bear arms.
The Supreme Court ruled that special need requirement for self-defense violates the Constitution, pointing to the Second and 14th Amendments. But many state and local lawmakers fear this will only put more guns on the street.
The Supreme Court got it wrong. Their decision is not only wrong, but it's dangerous.
But the ruling also states New York's lawmakers can set up licensing laws for carry permits, including criminal background and mental health checks, mandatory safety training, as well as banning guns from certain locations deemed sensitive, such as mass transit or government buildings. And Governor Kathy Hochul says the plan is to draft new legislation. In the meantime, gun owners are now asking if the ruling means their gun license automatically converts to full carry.
There are a host of issues that need to be addressed, and that's one of them.
Now, there are 6 other states with similar gun laws, so this ruling could very well impact those states as well. We're in Mount Vernon. Lisa LaRocca, News 12.
We're cutting into the alert center with such unfortunate news. Tuckahoe police announced it this morning. This man right here, Eviomi Atobo, was found dead. County police found him in water adjacent to the Westchester County Trailway near Yonkers during a routine canvass yesterday afternoon. Police believe he had been in the water soon after he went missing back on June 15th, but don't think his death is suspicious at this point. Of course, we'll continue to follow their investigation and update you as soon as we learn more. Lisa.
All right, Samantha, thank you. We turn now, though, to the state of our schools, and 3 Newburgh teacher and an assistant principal are now suspended. A district source telling News 12 the art teacher, Nicole Mischo, is among those being brought up on disciplinary charges. It follows remarks in a post where she called a black student's hair extension a snake. News 12 is also told a high school teacher and an assistant principal suspended for problems with how some of last week's Regents exams were conducted. A representative for Newburgh Schools did not comment on the controversies and says the district does not speak on personnel matters. We also have some new information for you this afternoon on that Grubhub order that ended up saving a woman from a very dangerous situation. Today, the city of Yonkers will honor the Chipper Truck Cafe for its heroism. The cafe owner says Grubhub gifted them $5,000 for their efforts to help that woman who got in touch with them with that message on Grubhub right there, saying she was being held at knife point. This local business also received a $200 gift certificate from Restaurant Depot, the company that they get their supplies from. Stay with News 12 and news12.com as we continue to follow that story. Well, Westchester County pools are now officially open for the summer season. That does include, get ready to take a note here, Saxonwood Park, Sprain Ridge Park, Wilson Woods Park, and Tibbetsbrook Park. Residents can take a dip from 11 a.m. until 6:30 p.m. daily until Labor Day. And we are finally starting to feel like it's summer out there. Addison Green in for Matt today to talk about our hyperlocal temperatures and look ahead to the weekend.
Oh, Lisa, it's going to be marvelous to be in that pool, right? Coming on up, going in through both Saturday and Sunday. I mean, even today when you get after work, if you have your pool open, dive on in because things are improving nicely all across the board for the weekend ahead. So your day today, getting to be more brighter and milder out and about. Your Saturday, finally feeling like summer. Sunday, too, as well. So go grab some ice cream, sit back and relax. Mondays when scattered showers come back our way, but we'll deal with that when the work week begins. Now, the view out there is going to look marvelous this afternoon. Lots of sun shining on down. Temperatures on the rise into the low to mid 80s from 82 degrees in White Plains, 85 in Newburgh, and a touch cooler up across the higher elevations of the Catskills. But coming up for Saturday, that's my pick of the week coming on up. Lots of sunshine, definitely a nice, warm, pleasant feeling in the air. Sunday, though, we start to see a little more humidity creeping on in, and temperatures will inch closer towards 90 degrees. We have this area of low pressure pulling away from us. High pressure is on the way, giving us fair skies all the while, but this high pressure will eventually start to tap into some warmth down across the southern plains, the deep south, where there are heat alerts in place, and start to bring that up across the Mississippi River and then over this way across and towards the northeast. As it does so, we're keeping our eyes on a cold front that's going to be making its way from the northern plains. It'll dive on down across and towards the Great Lakes by Saturday. You'll be seeing temperatures building on up ahead of it into the 80s and 90s. Same thing in towards Sunday. And then once that front passes us by Sunday night into Monday, it'll kick off rain chances. But also, you'll notice the humidity is starting to move on up, seeing a little bit more of this purple shade of color as you go on in through Saturday and heading out in towards Sunday as well. So just bear that in mind. It will be a little sticky from time to time. Here's a look at your extended 10-day forecast, and we are noticing that it's going to be looking nice for most of next week and wrapping up the month of June.
News 12 is celebrating Pride Month all June across the tri-state region.
Breaking news right now and the very latest on abortion rights. The Attorney General, Merrick Garland, now saying that the Justice Department disagrees with the Supreme Court's decision to overturn Roe v. Wade. And according to an AP opinion poll, the court is now at odds with the majority of Americans who favor preserving Roe v. Wade. Polls are now showing that only 1 in 10 Americans want abortion to be illegal in all cases. Going forward, abortion rights will be determined by the states. You may remember back in May, Politico obtained a draft of a majority opinion that would strike down Roe v. Wade. And now we want to hear your thoughts. Join the conversation about this landmark Supreme Court decision. You can scan the QR code. You see it right there on your screen and tell us how you're feeling about what happened today. Our poll is up right now.
And we're seeing here in the Alert Center, the conversation has already started on our social media pages. So many of you sharing your thoughts with us as the U.S. Supreme Court decided to overturn Roe v. Wade. Richard here, he is very pleased with this news, saying it's long overdue, saying babies' lives matter. God is overturning, in his words, the devil's way, and saying we are either heading back to the dark ages of abortion or moving forward to better constitutional laws to protect women's rights. Christina here saying, though, don't be surprised when women start dying when they try to perform abortions on themselves. Susan saying you can't say you are against big government and then be all right with the court's recent decisions. And our last comment right now was coming from Leah. She said, it is a dark day for our country and for women. Let us know what you think on our social media pages. Our continuing coverage starts or continues in just a couple of minutes.